do we not have the proof, man? Do we not see it? And mind you, I know that's the biggest here we go again, right? That I can imagine white people probably hear, because you think of the stereotypical Islam brother selling pound cakes. It's like we've been slaves for 400 years, right? And you imagine after hearing that so much, that's the last shit you want to hear. Same thing when
Yeah.
people are trying to be safe and hey, letting you know, hey, I happen to be a registered gun owner. I'm just letting you know so that you know. And then again, it's at the same time,
Yeah.
it's kind of used against you.
And it's one of those things too. I'll never forget one of the last times I got pulled over. I was working nights at this other gig, and I had got off work, and I used to get off work at like 11:30 or whatever and all that. And then I would like stop by to get something to eat before I went home. And so I stopped by this Taco Bell, and then like I got the, food or whatever and all that. And then I got my wallet, and I'm like, okay. And I just put like my wallet in between my lap because like I'm sitting down and my pants is too tight. My work pants is too tight to stick the wallet back in or whatever and all that. And so, I'm driving, eating or whatever. And then I'm almost at home and I come up to like the last light. And so I'm coming up on the light and then it's a cop car coming this way. And for whatever reason, he turned and made a U-turn and got behind me while I was at the light. I'm like, oh shit, this is about to be something. So then the light, turned green. And so I made my left turn and then I'm driving. The next right turn. So I'm driving and the cop is behind me. I'm like, okay, it doesn't look like he's going to pass me. And I was like, I don't want any sudden movement. So I was like, let me turn my blinker on so he knows that I'm about to turn into this,
As soon as that blinker went on,
neighborhood. As soon as the blinker on, whoop, whoop, I was like, all right. So I pulled over or whatever and all that. I was like, here we go. And I rolled the window down or wherever he came up or whatever. And then, he does his whatever spill and he's like license and registration. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, just to let you know, I'm like, my wallet is in between my lap. So I was like, I'm going to reach in between my lap to get my wallet. And he put his hand on his gun and he flashed his light in there. He looked and saw there was a wallet there. And then he was like, okay. He was like, slowly. He was like, when people say stuff like that, it makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Bro, if I would have just reached like this, I would have got shot 18 times. Like, I want you to know while I'm doing this unnatural movement, that's where my wallet is. And so, like, it's one of those situations that luckily I didn't have a gun happy cop that night. But it's one of those situations where there's nothing I could have said or did that would not have made you uncomfortable. Right. You're just uncomfortable around me. That's what it is.
Right. And again, you go like, let's say, for example, did you watch there was like a prequel to The Sopranos?
No, I ain't seen none of that.
So in this, it's based kind of like in the early 60s, 70s, where there was the riots in New York, right? And one of the things that, again, to kind of not even to kind of get into the theory of rights and how that shit always happens in low income areas, but there was always just this boogeyman mentality of what the black man carries, and people may not want to admit it, but whether you're looking at thinking back in the slavery days of hating on the mandingo because you could fuck your wife, and maybe some of those cucks that actually went into it and realized, damn, this motherfucker broke the seals on this shit, can never go back again. Whatever it is that started these fucking stereotypes and rumors, again, they just get passed on to where you are the fucking boogeyman. So all of a sudden, now I got to come in contact with you. I'm already hit with all these fucking preconceived notions of you, and you're giving me more cause for alarm. Which again, you're just being vocal, you're just communicating, but you're just checking every fucking thing on this motherfucker's list to make them even more agitated or worried. That again, you see those, poorly trained, whatever if you want to call it that, folks who maybe never seen a lick of action, and all of a sudden they're in this situation where they got to have the heat on you. Of course, if they're scared, man, that's the last place they want to be. The last thing you want to have is a motherfucker who's scared with a powerful weapon that could end your fucking life. And we've seen it every single time that they get scared, and whether it's them thinking I'm a good old boy, I'm gonna be protected, or them just for the fear of their life. Again, there's the reason why I think cops who are on the field, they need to have psychological exams. They need to have a fucking bachelor's in fucking psychology.
Yeah. And another thing too, and like I get that people got concerned when they heard this statement about defund the police, and it's like, oh my God, you want all the cops out of work. No. What defund the police meant was take some of that money away from the police department and put it other places. So like, for example, when someone has a mental health breakdown, Why is a cop going to that scene to
Right.
de-escalate? There should be some type of mental health expert that goes there. It like if there's a cat up in a tree or a snake in somebody's house, why are cops going to do this? Take that money out of the police department and move that money elsewhere so other people could go help. And oh, you know what? I bet cops wouldn't be as stressed if all they had to worry about was the actual crimes. Like work on the actual crimes. You ain't got to do all this extra stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
Cops are stressed out because it's way too much going on.
Yeah, I mean everyone's spread thin. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
unfortunately, if it wouldn't have even been a matter of taking funding from the police and let's just say just invest more in all this other resources, fucking your behavioral health and all this shit. There's been a lot of studies, I mean a lot of cases before too where a motherfucker had some kind of learning disability. Maybe he couldn't fucking talk. He has some kind of little, I don't know what symptom it is where maybe he clutches on this shit, or maybe, fuckers need fidget spinners, whatever the fucking
yeah,
case where, these people need the stimulation and all of a sudden it's seen as shady or as sly because, you just don't look right. I mean,
yeah,
not every fucker with a twisted face is a crackhead, but I mean, there should be motherfuckers to know the difference. You know what I'm saying? And
exactly.
a lot of people who are behaviorally disabled in some way somehow got the short end of shit because again they couldn't properly communicate. And then again, you're a
Yeah,
case where you properly communicated and you just agitated motherfucking more. So there ain't no winning
yep.
for losing in a lot of cases. And
And,
the luck of the
and
draw, man.
it don't help with all these dreads now or whatever, and the fact that I'm in the process, I'm trying to cop a gold grill too. I just want a
Oh,
removable
brother.
gold grill, so they really gonna think I'm from Chicago or something like that. They're gonna be like, oh, this one of them cats out of Florida, like so.
Every time I see you, just look blacker and blacker, and I just worry for you, bro. Like I pray for you so much now because I'm like, he ain't making it easy on him anymore.